Good morning everyone. This is May the 20th session for PIN227, section 1, if I'm not mistaken.
What?
I just finished a class, literature class. We had two book reports, Scarlet Letter, first one, and the second one, Moby Dick. And they take a lot of time because book report implies reflection, and actually we couldn't finish the second one. That's why I'm just entering the room. Okay, so I think it's 10:51. Okay, I thought I was going like 5 or 6 minutes late, like running late for the session, but that was the thing. I found very interesting websites that I wanted to share with you. This, of course, considering that you have time to visit them. I posted them in the LMS, and there's one, sorry, not in the LMS, in the chat room, and there's one that I wanted to show you, which is a PDF file for those of you who are a lot with, for all of you who may have a printer and, really enjoy reading from a piece of paper, is this one. Okay. English consonants, we have voicing, place of articulation, and manner of articulation. That's a very brief explanation. And, here we have at the beginning place of articulation. And the thing is that the consonant sounds are presented with an image, examples, a description, right? And then you get the full description here, considering all the criteria: voicing, place of articulation, manner of articulation, and if it's an oral or a nasal sound. Okay, so you have b, you have p here, as you can see there. You have etc., etc. So this is a very good summary for all of you who may want to have all the information in a summary, in a very concise manner. Okay. Another website that I found. I'm not endorsing these websites. I'm not getting paid for showing you these websites. I just found that they are quite simple in terms of providing with some examples to understand the concepts and topics that we're dealing with. For example, in a definition for a stop or a plosive, right? Stop is refers to this block, right, of the airstream, right? When we close the vocal tract, either with the lips, with the tongue pressed in some section of the roof of the oral cavity, and then release of air in a burst, right? I'm assuming you're seeing the same website that I'm looking at. The website says, has a title here, it says stop. Okay, I'm hoping you're seeing the same thing I'm seeing. And please let me know if you are not.
Yes, we are.
Okay, wonderful. So there are some examples here that that I would like one of you to read, and I'm going to pick Javiera Avila. Are you here, Javiera?
She's not.
She's not here.
Yes, she's not because she doesn't have internet.
Okay, thank you. Josefina,
Well,
would you like to read this section, please?
I'll try
Thank you.
at least. Um, should I read the sentence above? English contains. No? Yes. Okay.
Yes, please.
English contains the following stop consonants: P, purse, and rap. Oral passages is blocked by closing the lips, bilabial. B, back, and cab. Oral passages is blocked by closing the lips, bilabial. Bilabial? Bilabial? I don't know. T, tab, and rat. Oral passages is blocked by pressing the tongue tip against the alveolar ridge. Alveolar. D, deep, and bad. Oral passages is blocked by pressing the tongue tip against the alveolar ridge. Alveolar. K, kite, kite, and back, I guess. Black airflow with the back of the tongue against the soft palate. Biller. G, good and bug. Block airflow with the back of the tongue against the soft palate. Biller.
Thank you so much, Josefina, for reading aloud. And there are several words that are very interested here. For example, oral passage that is blocked, right? Blocked. Okay, so a quick, this is a general comment, right? This is not just for Josefina, but for all of you. Whenever you read a symbol, right, which is in between slashes, remember you are reading a sound, right? So, for example, when you read this one, you say p, you say b, t, d, k, g. Okay, so every time you read a symbol, because that's what it represents here, the slashes, that whatever is inside is supposed to be a phonemic symbol, so it's a sound, right? If this is not, if we find this, for example, here, this one, that is a P, right? For example, if you spell the word lips, you spell it L-I-P-S, right? So that is, for example, in the last one is an S. That's the grapheme, the letter S. Now, if you put slashes, the same symbol in slashes, right? We're talking about the sound, so we have to say S, okay? That's a general, very general comment. Some words contain specific vowel sounds. For instance, in the last one here, we have rap. Same thing here. Back and cap. We have a trap here, right? In the same thing here. Same thing here. Tab and rat. Rat. Dip. Short e. Dip. Bat. Again a trap here. Kite and back. Good. Bug. Good. Bug. Check out this one. Back. Bug. Back, we have a trap there. Bug, we have a wedge, all right? And here, good, we have a short oo sound. Okay, that's in terms of vowel sounds. Vowel sounds. And also, when you say alveolar ridge, okay, you remember to say alveolar ridge and not alveolar ridge. This is the general comment, okay? Because rich is spelled R-I-C-H. R-I-C-H. For someone who has a lot of money, we call that person a rich person, right? Someone rich. But this one is ridge, ridge. And it contains this sound, the sound we find in jam, badge, badge. Okay, G, as in jeans, jeans. Okay, so I'm saying this because We have to say a lot this word, alveolar ridge, right? Because when we talk about alveolar sounds, right, we always have to mention alveolar ridge, okay? Ridge. Um, okay, I don't remember. Oh, the other one, Josefina, would be bilabial. Bilabial. Okay. For alveolar and velar, remember that in the case of velar, the first sound is labiodental, so we have to produce some sort of voicing, right? V, v, okay, v. So we need to make a difference between, for example, bet and vet. Bet, vet. Okay, I don't know if you can hear it, but basically the first one would be a bilabial bet, right? Like to bet money when you go to a place and you can bet money, like in a casino, right? You can bet. And vet, which could be a short way to call a veterinary or someone who takes care of animals, right? A vet. Okay. So this website contains very interesting descriptions, stops, which are, as you remember, 6 sounds, right? I would call them plosive sounds, and some people call them, some phoneticians call them plosives, particularly at the beginning of a word like purse, right? Purse, tab, tab, kite, kite, because there is a release of the air, as in a burst, a plosion, right? And that plosion or burst or puff of air does not necessarily occur when you say, for example, rap, or cap, or back. Okay, because you basically stop the air, and you it's and even when you say rap, you stop the air, and there is not like a real, an actual release of the air in a burst. So I would call this one more than a plosive, a stop in final position, right? In initial position, I would call it a plosive, even though we need to remember that we're talking about the same family of sounds, right? The sounds that, according to the manner of articulation, the airflow is stopped, right, and then released in a burst. Okay, that's the idea. We are not making two different families, the stops and the plosives, right? It's basically the same 6 sounds, right? We're just making a difference in terms of the position and of these sounds in a word, and the quality of the sound. I'm saying it's not the same quality of the sound, of the consonant sound, if it's in initial position as whereas is in a final position. The other big family of fricative is the fricative consonant sounds, right? And here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 groups. Okay, most of them in pairs. Um, the the first one is fricative, right? V is also a fricative. They have the same place of articulation. Both of them are labiodental, and both of them, of course, are fricative because there's friction created by the upper teeth pressing the bottom lip. And the only difference in between these two is that the first one is voiceless and the second one is voiced. In the production of the first one, there's no vibration of the vocal folds, whereas in the production of the second one, there is. Okay, and we're going to see the same thing here in this second group, or these two, right? And the, both of them dental or interdental. I prefer to call them interdental. I think it's more specific, right? Both of them fricative. The first one is voiceless, as thick and bath, and the second one here is voiced, the, rather, right? When you produce this one, no vibration of the vocal folds. The second one, or the former, there is vibration. S and z, two alveolar fricative sounds, right? Same distinction. Voiceless, the first one, voiced, the second one. Same distinction here. Both of them are post-alveolar sounds, right? Meaning that they are produced right behind, right after, or past the alveolar ridge, right? In between the alveolar ridge and the heart palate, right? Both of them fricative, because there's also friction when you say short, right? Short, brash, vision, measure, right? And the first one voiceless, the second one voiced. And finally, a glottal fricative, right? In which the friction or obstruction is, you know, not really just like the other ones, in which you actually can perceive the very uh, the very narrow passage that you leave in your oral cavity for the airstream to go through. When you say zzz, you actually can perceive, right, the vibration, and which is caused by this really small room you leave for the airflow to leave the oral cavity. But when you say happy, hope, we're not actually conscious about this specific constriction, right, or obstruction of the airflow, as you can read here in the website. I think we talked about affricate sounds, right? Last session, the session before that one, ch and g. We talked about approximants last session. I think we talked about liquids, l and we talked about glides or semi-vowel sounds, and we put both groups, the liquids and the glides, into one big group, which was called approximants, right? I think that was what we did last session. And I remember I sent you, if I'm not mistaken, please always correct me if I'm wrong, um, a Word file. And the Word file contained a reading aloud practice and a phonemic transcription practice. And I'm attaching them to the chat again right now. Did you get them? The phonemic transcription exercise and the reading aloud exercise?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah? Alrighty. Okay, so let me get it right here, because I don't have it. Okay, it's right here. So in the 1, 2, 3. Okay, in the third page, we start with the paragraphs, right? There are some paragraphs. Okay, well, paragraphs, and I would like one of you to read aloud the first paragraph, and I'm going to ask for volunteers first, of course, as always. I think I'm going to download it. I think it's faster. So reading aloud. Reading aloud practice. Okay, I have my Word document open, so now I can freely navigate and see who's present here. Okay, Camilo Vélez,
You are not sharing the paragraphs, I guess.
No, I'm not sharing the paragraphs because I send them through the chat room,
Okay.
hoping that you could upload them. But I can share them. Okay, because I have it open. Can you see it now? I'm going to enlarge it a little bit.
Yes.
Okay, Camilo, Camilo, take this one. Take this one. Okay, up to the highlighted section. And the second part, Carla Munoz. So Camilo, the first part, and then there, yellow. All right, Camilo, and Carla, the one in green, please. Whenever you want.
Okay. Paul was walking through the woods, trying to find some animals to photograph. He stopped, drank some water, and then carried on. After a while, he started getting tired, so he decided to head back, when he came across a trap set by hunters.
Thank you.
Okay. He sat down and tried to break it so the animals can stay safe. The trap made him very mad. Finally, he managed to break it, but he hurt his ankle. Still, he was very happy to know that all the wild cats, rabbits, and other animals will be safe.
Thank you so much. Please remember, always remember that this is formative, right? I'm in no way criticizing your accent or the way you communicate because I'm just focusing on specific sounds, right? Camilo, remember, I understand that this is a trap. Please take a look at it, all right? Animals. I think it's animals. Take care of photo. This should be schwa, right? Photograph. And this might be a trap as well. Photograph. Take a look, all right? Also, general comment. The infinitive is to stop, right? To stop. Now the past tense, yeah, stopped, and you add a t. Why is that? Because the sound stop is voiceless. So when you have in a regular verb, you have a voiceless sound at the end. You have to add t, which is a voiceless sound. So voiceless. Okay, stopped. Stop. Voiceless. So the past tense, it should sound like a t. Okay. Stop. For example, walk is also a voiceless sound. So whenever you have the past tense, this should sound like a t as well. Walked. Okay, walked. Well, I can think of talk again. Talk. So also walked. So, sorry, walked. But if you think about if you think of a regular verb ending in voiced sound, a regular verb ending in a voiced sound, right? Let me think. I don't know if you can think about one. For example, here, carry in the second line in the middle. Carry, to carry, right? To carry, and then the past tense will be carried, right? Carried. Carry. Well, all vowel sounds are voiced. Okay, all vowel sounds are voiced. So what we're saying here, is okay for all vowel sounds and for voiced consonant sounds, right? Whenever you have to add here the past tense for a voiced sound, you have to use the sound d. So you say carried, d, carried, carried, okay? For example, the word play, play, and the past tense, right? It should be played, considering that the last sound of this word, I mean to play, is a diphthong, right? A. So a diphthong or a monophthong or triphthong, they're always voiced. Okay, so play, played. Okay, never play it, right? Never carry it. Well, it doesn't work here. But let's take pay, pay, and the past tense, which would be paid, right? So paid, paid, paid. Okay, so this is the general rule for the pronunciation of past tense, pronunciation of ed, that we're going to be applying later on. But I wanted to tell you the explanation for this one, right? Never, never stop it, but always stopped. Okay, stopped. Then we have drank. We have a trap here, right? Drank. You have to make the difference here. Drank. Because when we produce drank, we have a trap, and when we say drunk, we have a wedge. This one is the past simple, and this one is the past participle. So when you say, for example, I have drunk a Coke. I have drunk Cokes since I was a child. I have drunk. This is the participle, so that should be a wedge. And I drank a Coke yesterday. I drank a Coke yesterday. That would be a trap. Okay, so we have to make a difference here and try to exaggerate this sound here. Drank some water. And then carried on. So since this is a d, maybe we can link it. Carried on, right? And then carried on. Always strive for linking the final consonant sound with the next vowel sound, because when you link, that helps your fluency. That helps. That makes you a more fluent speaker, right? After a while, and he started getting tired. He started getting tired, so he decided to head back, a trap again. Okay, and he came across a schwa here, across schwa here, a trap here, trap, right? Set by hunters. All right, and Camila managed, right? Managed ankle. I think you produced a trap, which is very good here, considering that ankle versus uncle. The only difference is the initial sound, right? We have a trap here, ankle, and we have a wedge here, uncle, ankle, uncle, right? Sometimes it's difficult to hear. And also a general comment, remember that the initial sound for this word is a wedge, right? Other, never other, right? Another, other animals will be safe. Thank you so much. Do you have any questions, any comments? Let's move on to the next paragraph, unless you have a question, of course. Okay, no, Martina.
I think it's clear.
Okay, Martina, thank you, Catherine. Martina Jovanovic and Jorge Pinto. Martina Jovanovic, right here. And Jorge Pinto, please, right there. Whenever you want.
Mari was very angry, so she decided to treat herself to some sushi. She really liked the taste of raw fish. She also liked the music that was playing at the restaurant. It was classical music, her favorite.
After dinner, she went to the movie theater to see the latest Brad Pitt movie. There was a very long line in front of the theater, but she did not mind. Finally, she was able to go in and take a seat, just as the movie was starting. She enjoyed the movie a lot and was really surprised by the ending.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Wonderful. Just a quick comment. This is always voiced, okay? So you always say was, okay? You can say was with a short o, or you can say was with a wedge, but always the last sound is voiced. Was, all right? Same happens with is, okay? Was. The last consonant sound is a voiced z, okay? Z. So was. Um, okay, a general comment, very general. Remember that this one is her, right? Her, the one that you find in first, right? World, her, her favorite, right? Her. Then remember that this one is also a wedge, right? Front. It's difficult, right? Because of spelling. Front of theater. Front. And also link this one, Jorge. Go in, all right?
Go in. Go in.
Go in, exactly, going. Okay, excellent. It's another very good example. Enjoy, enjoy, because enjoy ends in enjoy and ends in a diphthong oi, which is voiced as all vowel sounds are, and then you have the past tense, right? Enjoyed. So this should be a d. Enjoyed, enjoyed, enjoyed. Alrighty. Next and final paragraph. Any volunteer? Felipe Escobar. Emilia. In that order, please. Whenever you're ready.
Martha and Dorothy were best friends. Their birthdays were on the same day and they always celebrated that day together. They both liked the same smooth music and the same authors. Everybody who met them thought they were sisters.
They always told the truth to each other and they respected each other very much. They wanted to move to Netherlands and planned to visit every country on earth. For the two of them, there was nothing better than their friendship.
Perfect. Very, very well read. Very well read. This is a really complex word. I always find it difficult. For me, it's so difficult to say birthdays, right? Birthdays. Because of this combination, th and the, birthdays, right? But very, very good. Very, very, very good. Good pronunciation here in the liked. You see, liked, because we have like and k, would be a voiceless sound, and then the past tense should have t, which is voiceless, right? Liked. Good. Also good, very good here. Author, o, long o. Okay, author. What else? Planned is a very good example here. Planned. because we have plan and is a voiced nasal sound, right? So for the past tense, you have to use a voiced sound, which is a d, planned, planned, right? D, planned. Okay, very good dialogue. Thanks so much. Okay, now it's open for anyone. Would you like to read? Are you a volunteer? Are you a participant? Maybe you are into tongue twisters. Let's talk about next week because it's 11:20. Yeah, it's about 11:30. Okay, let's talk about next week. I understand that next week we're having the assessment week because it's the last week of May. So assessment week from 25th up to 29th. And we're supposed to be having a listening, writing, and a speaking test. So I understand that the speaking test will be necessarily recording, even though the next the second assessment week it might be an interview. I think that for this first assessment week we are going to have a recording. Okay, the recording um, will be about some material uploaded to the LMS that you will have to download or read right from the same website, the same platform, and that you will have to upload following the instructions in the LMS. Okay, and that's one important thing. You have to follow instructions. Um, the requirement is that you upload it through the LMS, considering that it takes too much time to open individual emails containing attached files. Okay, so as you may already know, the teacher can upload the file um, as a compressed file only once. Okay, the listening and the writing tests will take place. I'm not so sure about I think probably on Monday or Tuesday. Okay, it will be during the day. I hope to finally reach Mr. Rojas today, and the focus of these tests is vowel sounds and consonant sounds only place of articulation. When I mean vowel sounds, I mean monophthongs, diphthongs, and triphthongs. Okay. Um, Remember that we covered some of the concepts, or you're expected to understand also some concepts of articulatory phonetics. So you're expected to know, for example, all the parts of the vocal tract that are necessary to produce a specific sound. Um, I think it would be interesting for you to take a look at a PDF file that I mentioned before, the one that's in the website. Um, I uploaded a couple of them. Yeah, and also remember that for vowel sounds we covered at least 5 different criteria to describe each. I think it would be interesting for you to revise these websites. Um, Let me show you. please feel free to ask any questions if you may have one specifically about the tests are going to take place in the first assessment week, or about any other.
What about the other tests?
Which tests specifically? The listening, the writing?
Yeah, because you talked just about the speaking.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry about the misunderstanding, but I actually was talking about all of the tests. The contents in general are going to be about vowel sounds, and consonant sounds only place of articulation.
So all the tests will upload at the to the LMS, right?
Right. Well, the idea is that you can take these tests through the platform. Basically, what you did with the quizzes, in which you were assigned certain activities, the items are going to be different. They're going to vary, because probably you're going to have, I don't know, fill in the gap items, right? Or true or false items, not only multiple choice items. And then you might be required to answer a short question, okay? But the topic in general is it's going to be about. Let me see if I can share with you this PowerPoint. Phonetics and phonology, minimal pairs. Okay, I'm sorry about the because I was looking for the presentation. So so you're expected to know vowel sounds, their position in the vowel quadrilateral. You're expected to understand and show evidence that you know the different criteria to describe vowel sounds, right? Such as, which vowels are front, which vowels are, I don't know, mid-central. You're expected to. Let's take these slide as an example, okay? So in this slide, we have two vowel sounds, which are quite similar. We have the trap and the so-called wedge or caret. So you're expected to know the theory and the practice about these two vowel sounds. For example, you're expected to know the height of this sound, the position of the tongue when you articulate it, the tension of the lips if this sound is rounded or unrounded, and if this sound is short or long, okay? And also, if you know that those pieces of information, you can make a clear comparison with the wedge, okay, on one thing, the theoretical aspect or theoretical knowledge about the sounds. And also the practice. I mean, you're expected to be able to produce a as in trap and a as in hut, as in the examples here. Bat, but. Batter, butter. Cap, cup. Okay, so you're expected to apply the knowledge into reading aloud context, for instance. So you're expected to read and produce, identify, right, and produce this specific, or these two specific sounds. Okay, so that's in terms of monophones, and also in terms of consonant sounds, you're expected to know you know, in terms of theory, that that a diphthong, right? It's basically it's one sound unit in which you glide from one sound into the other. You're expected to know the diphthongs used in RP, right, and General American, and you're expected to know that, for example, the diphthong found in the words pay, made, rain, bay starts in the sound e, which is a mid front, a short sound, and it glides into e, a high front sound, which is also short, right? A. Okay, and the same thing with triphthongs. You expect to know a little bit of theory and a little bit of practice. You're expected to know more theory for the writing test, and you're expected to manage all the practical aspects for the listening and the speaking tests, considering that for the listening test, you will have to use that knowledge and apply it to identify the vowel sounds, and for the speaking test, because when you read aloud, you're expected to produce the sounds. Okay, and in terms of consonant sounds, we're only going to cover this time, place of articulation, and a manner of voicing, right, are going to be left out for next assessment week. Okay. I don't know if there's any questions that you might have.
Professor, I have a question, but it is not about the content. It is about the quizzes and the tests. First, the test is going to be the same day and time for every single section.
I don't have that the information for that answer yet. Considering, as I said before, that I hope to meet with finally meet with Mr. Rojas today. I sent him an email, and I hope to know when he's going to be available to decide that.
Okay.
Also, I expect to define this today. I'm not sure if we're having a faculty meeting. Faculty meeting, meaning the meeting in which all teachers get together. And today, if we're not having the meeting anyway, I'm going to send the question to understand how we're going to organize this, because I understand that each group of teachers had to deal with the tests, but eventually you will have to take many tests, so you cannot have like 2 or 3 tests at the same time and none the rest.
Yeah. And also about the quizzes of the people who are attending this class, but we are registered in section 4 or 3. Have you agreed something with Professor Luis? Because I sent him an email asking if he had the quizzes or any grades, and he told me that he haven't received any quiz. And we have taken 2 quizzes with you.
Right. First of all, I'm not so clear about why students who were registered in a different section were attending a different one. That's something that I'm still not so clear about. And in general, we tend to have certain flexibility every single semester, considering that some situations or issues arise when students are trying to register for courses. So that part I'm not so clear yet about. Second, I cannot download the quizzes, or at least I haven't found a way to download the quizzes from the LMS so as to send them to Mr. Rojas. So the only option that I can see is to enroll him manually into the course as, another teacher. I think there's a figure, there's a specific name, so he can access the quizzes and assess them, right, and grade them. I haven't found the time to assess them yet because I have been taking care of the students who are registered in the section first. That's to be honest. Okay. The recordings, I can send them very quickly because that's a matter of putting them into a compressed file and send them to him. So I think I can take care of the recordings very quickly. And
Okay.
all right. And all right, and I'm seeing a comment here by Alvaro. I can't use my micro. What's micro? Microsoft? Microwave? Alvaro? Ah, your microphone. Okay. Okay. I don't know about flexibility in terms of well, I'm sure that everyone is being flexible, understanding that in general there are some technical aspects that we cannot manage, right? So, but the flexibility, it's I mean, we're going to set up some basic rules, as you know, when the test can be taken, how much time you are going to have as soon as you open the test and you start taking the test, how much time you have, and the procedure for technical issues. Um, because we understand that sometimes you may start a test and then you might have some issues to submit it, right? So we're going to define sort of a small and concise protocol for that. I expect to meet him, Mr. Rojas, right? Expect to meet him this afternoon, and as soon as I have and would reach an agreement, I'm going to post message through the LMS so that everyone can have access to the information, hopefully covering all the procedures for the 3 tests.
Teacher,
Yes.
will you establish some kind of specific time to do the test, or it will be like, I don't know, you have the whole day to complete the test? Because I don't know, if for example, if you upload the test on Tuesday, I have classes on Tuesday, so I don't know if it makes sense.
You have classes on Tuesday. Right, you have classes on Tuesday, and you don't have classes with you don't have a phonetics class, right?
Yes.
So yeah, yeah, it's going to be. I think it's the best and wisest solution would be to keep the tests for the time in which you are having the class, and specifically 2 hours. So my guess, I'm not saying anything official, right? I'm not saying this is the final information. I'm thinking aloud here that you have 2 hours on Monday, and probably you might have the test on Monday, if you have considering that, right? Considering you have 2 hours here. The other option would be on Wednesday, if we separate the tests and you take, for example, I don't know, a listening test on Monday and then a writing test on Wednesday. So that would be another option. Because I'm not sure if the 4th hour you're available. Because we meet on Wednesday, the 3rd hour, and I don't know if you have available the next one. So that would be the other option if we take up the following hour on Wednesday, the one you have, we start like at 10:50 and maybe finishing at 1 o'clock. It's another option. But are you free on Wednesday, 4th hour? You don't know?
Yes, I am. At least in my case.
I am.
I just have phonetics on Wednesday. In the
Yeah,
whole
could
day.
be. Could be a good
Okay.
option.
Teacher,
Mm-hmm.
I would really like you to consider that if you put the test like if you define the time of the test like in 2 hours, you have to I don't know, be careful about the length of it, because for me personally, my computer is slow, so it has stopped working during quizzes, and it can happen um, in the test. And if you, I don't know, made a plan if that happens, or if you could put it up for more than 2 hours, that would be really helpful, because I can do anything about it. It's just my computer, and it's not my fault.
Right, and that's understandable. So I think that I mean, for that reason, I think that it would be um, it would be more um, according to the context. It would be more appropriate to separate the evaluations, considering that, for example, one of them, I'm thinking. Sorry, we're talking about listening and writing, right? So, uh, uh, considering maybe on Monday having the writing test and on Wednesday having the listening test, that would give you the option to take more than an hour. But the there are many opportunities for this. We may also see it not just a challenge, but also as an advantage. In which way? Because when the audio files are uploaded to the LMS, you as users, you as the test takers, have the possibility to replay the same audio file as many times as you want, right? As much as you want. Whereas when you are in a face-to-face evaluation, you get to listen to the file or the recording probably 2 or 3 times. Okay, so that's also an advantage. Disadvantage would be what Josefina was mentioning, that it's out of our control to manage, whereas the computer is going to freeze, or the internet signal is not going to be the best one. So we're going to go through individual cases on that basis, right? Students having issues would need to contact us as soon as possible, specifically while they are taking the evaluation, or right before the deadline for closing the test. If you had issues, do not wait till the next day or 2 more days to inform about that situation, right? So I'm sure you're going to inform while you're having issues, or right after the closing time for the date. So it's important. Keep us updated in the sense that if you're having issues with the test, let us know. But I'm trying to be optimistic here, considering that if I give you enough time, if most of you have, you already know the date and time, and I don't think that 100% of you will not be able to access the test. I'm thinking that maybe 5% of you will have an issue, maybe, and then I can provide a solution for that 5% of students having issues with or technical situations with the test. Okay, so my commitment here is to inform you as soon as possible, hopefully today in the evening, about the specific dates through a message in the LMS. So please make sure that you have access to the LMS and that you are receiving messages that teachers send you. That's one thing that you need to do as soon as possible. If you have issues with the LMS, you need to get some assistance, right? Um, and I'm going to send you the information about the three tests, okay? In terms of in relation to the speaking test, I'm going to tell you how long the recording should be. I'm going to send you the material, the paragraphs, I don't know, whatever you need to read with instructions. I'm going to send you a rubric which will focus on the production of vowel sounds and also consonant sounds, right? Particularly in the sense of, remember, focusing on the place of articulation, the place in which the sounds that you're using actually sound. Not native-like, but an interdental that should sound as an interdental, an alveolar that should sound as an alveolar and not as a velar, okay? So what I'm going to ask you is that when you record your voice, make sure that you're using the best sound quality device that you can find. If you can have access only to your cell phone, well, your cell phone is going to be. But if you have the possibility to record through an online website or through the computer or your cell phone, see and evaluate which one is or has the highest quality, the highest sound quality. Um, the other thing that I wanted to ask you is make sure that you comply with the time requirement, because I'm telling you this because I received recording from another course, another class, and I requested 1 minute and 30 seconds, and I received a 30-second recording. Okay, so a 30-second recording will take many points off your final grade. Okay, so make sure that you comply with the recording. If it's 1 minute, 1 minute. If it's 1 minute 30 seconds, 1 minute 30 seconds. All right. Of course, there's some flexibility. I don't know, 2 or 3 seconds, but make sure you comply with what is being requested. Okay, and also naming. Make sure you pay attention to how you name the recordings. All right. For example, I'm probably going to ask you to send an email saying, for example, PIN227. I don't know. Section 1, Emilia dot Spinoza, speaking 1. Okay, probably something like the one that I posted in the chat room. Okay, but just follow the instructions. Okay, and I received recordings from different sections, and I have a question about that you may not be able to answer, but sometimes out of 25 recordings that I receive, many are .mp3, mp3, mp3, mp4, mp4, and then a couple of them have neither. So the icon is not an icon. It's not a sound icon. It's just a blank, an average, a general icon. So I cannot open the file. So sometimes what I do is I rename the file at the end, put in like .mp3. Like I did in the chat. PIN227 section 1, Emilia Espinosa section 1 dot mp3. Okay, and then I can open the file. So I want you to pay attention to that, please. Take a look at the extension of the file that you sent and see if you can open it. So it may be not your responsibility, but it may be that it might be an issue with the LMS, and I need to communicate that. All right.
Maybe sometimes that happen because the cell phone sometimes record audio files like MP4. So for example, to me, with my audio happened that because I send to my computer and appear like MP4, and I upload to the LMS and said that it is like it is doesn't exist, and I have to convert the file to an MP3, and it works perfectly.
Thank you for that comment, and that's something that I wanted to take care. See if you're able to convert the file to an MP3 to have an MP3 extension to make sure that because sometimes when I rename the file, putting like .mp3, I can open the file. Probably 80 or 90% of the times I can open the file after I do that. And sometimes it takes a bit of time when it's like 10 recordings or 10 files which have a generic icon and not a sound icon. So I have to do that procedure for each one. But sometimes I cannot open the file, and then it takes a while for me to contact the student, the author of that recording, because I keep grading, I keep receiving things, then I have to grade I don't know, the listening tests, the writing tests. So please make sure that you can open the file that you are sending. Make sure before sending it that it has an extension that can be opened by any computer, hopefully .mp3, okay, or mp4. And if you have an extension, if you're using your cell phone and you're having a different extension, try to convert that into an MP3 or a .wav, although that is a little bit heavier. Okay, but make sure that the teacher's going to, because if you don't make sure, that's going to create an issue for me, because if I have 25 or 35 files that I cannot open, I need to spend more time trying to figure out how to open the file. Okay, I ask you that as a favor, because probably I'm going to keep doing and grading other things, other tests. I'm going to probably upload the PDF file with the grades. Your grade is not going to be there. We're going to have to review a specific, issues and situations to find out what the problem was. Okay, so that's the favor I wanted to ask. Sometimes, I don't know, the LMS is the issue, and it's just not a perfect tool, but it has also some issues, right? And also in the message I'm going to be sending in the LMS, I'm going to include the specifics about the listening and the writing tests, including contents, including dates, and including some basic protocol, okay? For example, I don't know, make sure you press the button send, etc., etc., etc. And the idea is that you have enough time to do it, that you follow instructions so you can make sure that the teacher receives the test, right? And I'll see if I can get into the setup for the test, the configuration of the test, so as to make sure that you receive confirmation of you sending the. I think I can do that. That you can receive a confirmation of your submission. Okay, um, it's always good to have confirmation when you send something through an online procedure, right? I'm sorry about taking up so much of your time. It's 12:02. I do apologize, and I'll be contacting you through the LMS. If you have questions, please shoot me a brief email. All right? Any other questions?